red zone touchdown.
Throw down to second in time.
Brittany turns and dumps it. Staten on the run, and he jams it home.
Whoever comes home, they got her.
What tough shot. And there's McLemore. Oh, wow!
Welcome to this week's Big 12 Report, presented as always by Dr. Pepper. I'm Wendell Barnhouse, Big12Sports.com correspondent. He is Carter Babb. And the Big 12 is about to enter a busy 6 weeks, and we're going to be busy telling you about it.
You got that right, Wendell. Well, starting with this week's Big 12 Indoor Track and Field Championships, and we'll have more on that later in the show, the Big 12 Conference Office is about to embark on a 6-week stretch of hosting events that will make us busier than we've ever been before.
And I've been here all 17 years, and we've never had a stretch like this.
The conference is hosting the Big 12 Track and Field Championships this Friday and Saturday in Ames. That starts a 6-week stretch that includes conference championships in swimming and diving, wrestling, gymnastics, equestrian, and men's and women's basketball. Plus, the Big 12 is hosting an NCAA Tournament men's regional at Cowboy Stadium in Arlington, Texas, and an NCAA Tournament women's regional in Oklahoma City.
This is our chance to put together a lot of different events for our schools, for our membership, and the NCAA membership. It's a fun time of year, and it's what makes all of this really exciting.
It's a busy time of year for us. We spend a lot of time trying to make sure that our championships are the best in the business.
There are hours and hours of behind-the-scenes work needed to organize the championship events. The Phillips 66 men's and women's basketball championships, plus the NCAA regionals, require months of preparation.
There's an awful lot of planning. There's a lot of meetings with the facilities. There's meeting with our staff, meeting with the local organizing committees. All of those type things happen. But, there's a reason they call it March Madness. It's not just for the fans and not just for the teams, but also the people that put on these events. And, it's a labor of love.
It's kind of what we do. It's very energizing for our staff. We've got a bunch of great people who work very hard, are very good at what they do. And it's, quite frankly, in the same way our student athletes get to showcase their skills, it's a chance for our group to kind of come together and put together great events.
This is not a time when we're sitting around the conference office very much. We're on the move, and it's a chance for us to shine and really provide some service to our members.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a hectic time in the next month or so it should be fun.
Yeah, we're all going to be very busy.
That's right. Okay, Wendell, well, we're just a couple weeks away from the Phillips 66 Big 12 men's and women's basketball championships, and the standings at the top are crowded on both sides.
Absolutely. Through Sunday's games on the men's side, there was a 3-way tie for first place and a 3-way tie for fourth place, with those 6 teams only separated by 2 games. Now, no season in league history has ever finished with the top 6 teams separated by so few games, so we'll see how this is going to play out over the next couple weeks. Now, there's 2 games I'm really going to keep an eye on Saturday regarding the standings. The first is Oklahoma State at West Virginia, and then Baylor at Oklahoma. Now, the Bears and Sooners are 2 of those 3 teams that are tied for 4th place, and this game could help break up that log jam a little bit. And plus, the Cowboys figure to have a tough game going on the road and playing on the Mountaineers' home court. Now, on the women's side, last Sunday, Baylor clinched its 3rd consecutive Big 12 regular season title without even taking the court. Then Monday night in Hartford, Connecticut, the top-ranked Lady Bears still proved they're the team to beat on the national scene. The defending national champions, the Lady Bears, fell behind by 11 points in the first half, but outplayed the 3rd-ranked Huskies in the second half for a 76-70 victory. Brittany Griner scored 21 of her 25 points in the second half. Her last 2 points came on free throws with about a minute left, and that gave her exactly 3,000 career points. She's the 8th NCAA Division I women's basketball player to reach that plateau of 3,000 or more career points. Now, 2nd through 7th place in the women's standings are jumbled. They're just as jumbled as the men's standings, and the week started with the teams that were tied for 2nd, just 2 games ahead of 7th place West Virginia. Saturday's Bedlam game in Stillwater and Sunday's Texas Tech at Kansas game are the top games this weekend that might change up some of that crowded standings look.
That's right. There's still a lot to be determined, so it should be fun to watch coming down to the end of the season.
Yep.
That's right. Well, earlier in the show, we featured the upcoming schedule for the Big 12 in terms of championships, and the first of those is this weekend's women's and men's indoor track and field championship, which will be hosted by Iowa State.
Big 12 is important. I mean, anytime you line up the Big 12 championships, it's an important event. It's what we kind of look towards, the beginning of the year. It's like, okay, Big 12 indoors, Big 12 cross country, Big 12 outdoor track. So it is a stepping stone for the national meet, but it's important, and it's an important step along the way. So we want to come in, do well, and set ourselves up for, a good national meet, a couple weeks later.
Kansas finished second in the NCAA Indoor Championships last year, and Diamond Dixon won the 400-meter title.
Big 12 is always going to be a stepping stone for everybody. It's a stepping stone for even a learning experience. You get with other teams that are just as competitive as you are, and they might even be better at some things, so you get to the Big 12s and you learn from it.
The league championship, and that's always important, and there's nothing easy about the meet. So the athletes are preparing for that. They want to go in ready to compete well there, and traditionally, if you do compete well at the Big 12, you're going to compete well at the NCAA.
It's going to be a dogfight, and I think it's the conference has changed a little bit, and I think that's good, and I think there's some parity out there for a lot of the teams, so it should be fun to see kind of how it shakes out.
Okay, Wendell, well, with that, it's time for the always entertaining, always thrilling, notorious weekly shout-outs. So what did you come up with this week?
Lots of pressure from that introduction, Carter. Thank you. Well, first of all, Oklahoma State's top-ranked wrestling team easily won its two matches in the National Duels Regionals on Sunday. They beat Kent State and number 24 Northern Iowa. Now the Cowboys will advance to the national finals this Friday and Saturday in Minnesota. Looks like Oklahoma State is stalking its 35th national championship in that sport. And undefeated Oklahoma is ranked second nationally in women's gymnastics and faces an important meet at 7 p.m. Friday in Norman when it faces number 5 UCLA. The Sooners are 14-0 and they have more victories than any other team in the nation. And now in event rankings, OU is ranked number 1 on beam, number 3 on floor, number 3 on bars, and number 6 on vault. Final shout out, it's about 2 months away, but I think you need to mark your calendars for April 19th through April 21st. That's when Oklahoma will visit Texas in softball, and that should be an outstanding 3-game series. The Longhorns have scored 90 runs and have hit 13 home runs in going 11-0 so far, while the Sooners have scored 81 runs and have hit 17 homers in just 10 games, and they're 10-0. Now, Oklahoma is ranked number 1 in the ESPN.com USA softball national rankings. Texas is number 6, and Baylor is number 25 in this week's standings. Those 3 teams are a combined 31-2, and the Big 12's 9 softball teams are a combined 56-14 on the season.
That's right. It's starting out to be a good year so far. Well, that'll do it for another week of the Big 12 Report. Like we said earlier, the next month or so is going to be really busy. So in order to keep up with everything going on, be sure to check out our website at big12sports.com and follow us on Twitter at Big 12 Conference. We'll see you next week.
If I can. Specifics. Pop the champagne.
He's been drinking since 8 o'clock this morning.
No, I haven't.
The Big 12 Conference is about to go through a 6-week period of hosting events that will put us busier. Busy, getting busy.
We're going to get
we gonna get busy.
Busy in this house.
It's definitely going to be.
It's definitely going to be. The voice is not there. It's been gone for about 59 years now.
So you were 20. so you were 21.
Yeah, I was 21 when my voice left.
Weekly shout outs. What'd you come up for this week?
Yeah.
And I said, what did you come up for? As if you're like in the ground. As if you're like in the ground and you came back just for something. Weekly shout outs. What'd you come up for us this week?
Come up for us this week?
Come up with.
Good. Nice job.